Thanks for joining us on What Matters This Week. Best-selling author Dan Brown is with us as he is joining the Children's Literacy Foundation Virtual Book Club for Grown-Ups. And there's a lot to talk about there because CLiF usually deals with children's books and donating children's books as well. But Dan, this is where you come in. This is something I didn't know. You actually wrote a children's book not too long ago, and this sounds like a labor of love.
Without a doubt, it was a labor of love. I grew up reading. My parents didn't want to have a TV. They wanted us to read. So I had, mounds of children's books as a kid and sat on the living room floor and read Richard Scarry and Dr. Seuss and all of those. So grew up loving children's books and picture books.
So how did Wild Symphony come to be?
Yeah, well, it's funny. My mom was a professional classical musician, and we, when we were kids, we read and took piano lessons, music lessons, and I studied a lot of music and wrote a lot of music as a kid and continued that all the way through university. When I was talking about reading children's books, I would sit on the floor, and while I was reading, I would listen to my mom's classical music collection. And those are some of my fondest memories as a kid of listening to classical music and looking at a picture book. And I wanted to create that same experience for kids today, with a little bit of a twist. There's new technology now that makes listening to music very, very easy to tie it to a book, and we've employed that, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so kids, parents can download an app, right? And kind of the pages of the book come to life in a way.
Yeah, well, it's funny. One thing I want to do is make sure that the kids didn't get lost in the technology, that it was still just very much a reading experience in a picture book. This app, it's just a free app that you download through a barcode on the book, essentially just plays the music. What's kind of fun about it is if you hold a phone over the book, the phone knows what page you're on. It recognizes the page and plays the proper music. And kids, of course, the parents figure it out in about 30 seconds. The kids figure it out in about 5 seconds. So that's how it works.
That's true. That's true. A lot of people know your face and name, of course, from the Vinci Code and the Robert Langdon series. Does writing a children's book give you some kind of a respite into the realm that you're used to?
Without a doubt. You're writing short poetry, often with silly nonsense words. But also, I'm not researching the Catholic Church or artificial intelligence or Spain or whatever it is I happen to be doing in the book I'm working on. I'm really thinking much more about broader themes of acceptance and community and patience and calm and all those things that I was fortunate to have ingrained in me as a child. So the book has a lot of, every page has a moral. Every page is dedicated to an animal, and that animal has a poem that goes with it, a song that goes with it, and also has a moral to share with kids. Nothing earth-shattering, but sometimes even adults need to be reminded that life is simpler than we make it oftentimes.
That's for sure. Yes. And when you do this virtual book club for grown-ups, you're of course going to get a lot of questions about what you're known for the most, I should say. These are thrillers, controversial themes at times, a lot of symbolism, a lot of technical aspects to it. You must get a lot of interesting questions then from readers, right? They probably have answers to a lot of life's problems.
First of all, I love my readers. They're engaged people, and it always, people come up to me and say, I know you hate it when people come up to you and want to talk about your books. And that's not true. I enjoy it. I write these books to spark dialogue, to spark debate, and let people talk about why they believe what they believe. These are novels. It doesn't matter to me on a personal level what somebody believes in their life. We all were raised differently, have different influences, and have different beliefs. And it's just important to me to talk about them. So I'm thrilled when readers want to ask strange questions and get into the weeds.
Now, is there a TV projects in the work as well? I know the pandemic has changed a lot, but is this still a go?
It is still a go, and I saw the first episode last night, and it's really, really good. I'm excited about it.
This is Robert Langdon Young, correct?
Yes, it is actually. So we've got a great actor. Ashley Zuckerman is doing a terrific job. So this is, I wrote a book called The Lost Symbol, which was set in Washington, D.C. And we have turned that into, or in the process of turning it into 12 or 14 hours of television. So it'll be a series. I mean, what we're all watching now is not movies for some reason, it's series. And that's sort of where the genre has gone. So this is Langdon. It's a book that I wrote with an older Langdon, but we're filming it with a younger Langdon. And chronologically, this happens before Da Vinci Code in the world of TV. And it's worked out really nicely. It's exciting.
And this will be the first time that Robert Langdon has been played other than Tom Hanks, right?
Yes, and I'm a huge fan of Tom's. He's I felt very, very fortunate to have him play Robert Langdon. This is a change of pace, which is why we're making it a young Langdon, where it clearly needs to be a different actor.
These kind of virtual book discussions, even when you can get back in bookstores and sign books in person, do you think a lot of this might linger into the future a little bit?
I think people have gotten much more comfortable with what we're doing right now. I'm not in your studio, we're not face to face, but we are still communicating. I think people are more comfortable, and there is a convenience factor to it. I'm not an enormous fan. I imagine in your business, you're not an enormous fan either, because I think there's a lot to be said with true face to face. My guess is, though, although people are more comfortable with it, I think that there's going to be an enormous surge back to in-person meetings as soon as we can.
I think you're right. Before we let you go, I ask this of a lot of authors, but what are you reading right now?
Wow, I'm reading nothing but research books for the new Robert Langdon novel that I'm writing. I can't possibly tell you what it is, because that would ruin the surprise. But I'm reading a lot of science and a lot of philosophy. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, that's about the sneak peek we're going to get out of you. Dan Brown, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.